So a very good evening to all of you. And we are very fortunate to have all our distinguished panelists, Professor R.M. Vasagam, Dr. S. Pal, as well as Professor Claudio Succi. And they all are going to join us in celebrating a very, very important event in India's history, which is the 40-year celebration of launch of first Indian experimental communication satellite, Apple. So as we all know that Professor Vasagam sir was the project director for Apple satellite, and Dr. Paul was the antenna designer, and he was the person who initiated actually antenna activities in URSC as well as I can say in India as far as the space antenna activities are concerned. To celebrate this important milestone, we thought that let us have an online panel discussion in this pandemic season. For attendees who are not from ISRO, I would like to introduce about Apple satellite. So Ariane passenger payload experiment Apple was an experimental communication satellite successfully launched by Ariane 1 from Kourou, French Guiana on June 19, 1981. Exactly 40 years back, marking an important milestone in India's space program. Apple was used in several communication experiments, including relay of TV programs and radio networking. It was used to carry out extensive experiment on time, frequency, and code division multiple access systems, radio networking, computer interconnect, random access, and pocket switching experiment. It also provided an opportunity to introduce state-of-the-art technologies of the day, such as movement fast 3-axis stabilization techniques, motor-driven deployable solar array, earth sensing for attitude control, C-band transponder design, inclusive of composite reflector, orbit raising, station acquisition, station keeping, and a host of mission management and flight dynamic techniques. Apple laid the foundation for indigenous development of operational communication satellites, which grew into a very large constellation of satellites, namely InSat GSat series. Apple was dedicated to the nation on August 13, 1981 by none other than then Prime Minister of India, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. And that same year, 2 days after, means when we celebrated Independence Day, the Prime Minister's address to the nation was also relayed live for the first time in the history of India by Apple satellites. So with this brief introduction, I would like to invite now our chair of APMTT chapter, Sri V. Senthil Kumar, to deliver welcome address. Senthil sir, over to you.
Thank you, Puneet. Good evening to all. Professor Vasagam, Dr. Paul, Professor Gladio, and all IEEE colleagues. Good evening to all on behalf of IEEE MTT and AP chapter, Bangalore. I am welcoming you all. I welcome Professor Vasagam, who was the first communication satellite project director in ISRO, and he today's his experience and his talk, it will definitely trigger young minds to achieve some more in their technical career. And I knew him, not directly worked with him. I knew him when he was utilizing the URSC resources, mainly the URSC library, and he used to stay extended hours to go through the papers and then trying to get many communication related things during this period. So I used to watch him as a newly joined engineer during those days. I welcome you, sir. Thank you for accepting this. And it's your talk, definitely it will actually trigger young minds to go into greater heights in terms of their research and in terms of their professional work. And I also I'm also very happy to say that I am also from the College of Engineering Gindi campus, where you worked as a Vice Chancellor for quite some time. And I came to know from the professor saying that during your period, you have done a great job in the academic area also. And next, I welcome Dr. Paul, who was our guru and who initiated all the antenna activities, spacecraft, especially the spacecraft antenna related activities in India, and trained many people like me in this field, and many of the RF systems and many new technologies in this communication area was actually initiated by Dr. Paul. Today, across India, many people, the new team is doing a fantastic job in terms of RF and antennas. The credit goes to Dr. Paul's initiative. And next, I welcome you, sir. Thank you very much. And I remember almost 2 decades association with you under your leadership. We have done a lot of many works. And it is a nice memory to recollect all those what you call the success. Whenever we complete one activity, one design activity or a system realization, when it comes to a fruitful ending, so we all used to celebrate. I remember in the 90s, in your leadership, you have achieved many things. It's like a good memory for our official career. And next, I welcome Gladio Sachi, who is a professor in the University of Toronto, and I have just gone through his the contribution in the field of communication, signal processing, and the signal analysis area. I welcome on behalf of our chapter and this particular occasion. Thank you very much for coming and going to present your ideas to the IEEE Society. And the last one, our moderator, Punit Kumar Mishra, who is very active in both the what do you call the antenna test and development activities, plus the IEEE. He is a very active member along with our Chandrakanta Kumar. So they are doing an excellent job in mobilizing all this expertise available in the field of electronics and communication area in India as well as abroad. And even in this pandemic situation, they are trying to organize many technical sessions which will be useful for the student as well as the professional community. So I welcome our Punit Kumar Mishra. And I saw many of the senior veterans who worked in this microwave field also is participating. And on behalf of the IEEE chapter Bangalore, microwave and antenna and propagation chapter, I welcome you all, and I'll hand over to Punit Kumar Mishra. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senthil sir. Thank you very much for formally welcoming all our distinguished panelists. For the information purpose, I would like to tell that this particular event is being co-hosted by not only IEEE APMTP Joint Bangalore chapter, but it is also co-hosted by IEEE AESS Bangalore chapter, IEEE AESS panel on Blue Technologies for Space System, as well as IET Bangalore Center. So you can see that the number of co-hosts are so much that everybody wants to celebrate this very, very important milestone of India's satellite history. With this, I would like to now introduce our very, very eminent as well as distinguished, who himself have designed and developed this particular satellite. So first and foremost, I am really honored to have our project director of Apple Satellite, Professor R.M. Vasagam. Even though he has retired and presently he is acting as a chancellor, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, Chennai, as well as he is also chancellor of Karapagam University, Coimbatore. He has served Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute as Vice President, acting Co-Chancellor and Vice Chancellor. He was Director, Karunya Institute of Technology and Sciences, Chairman of Tamil Nadu Institute of Information Technology, Chennai, Vice Chancellor of Anna University, And then you can after retirement, he has done so many. And before that, he was outstanding scientist and director, Directorate of Advanced Technology and Planning at ISRO headquarters, Bangalore. Before that, he was project director for India's first experimental geostationary communication satellite project. He is a fellow of International Academy of Astronautics, Paris, National Academy of Sciences, Astronautical Society of India, IETE, Astronautical Society of India, Institute of Engineers India, as well as the IPE. He has won several awards, including the fourth highest civilian award in India, Padma Shri, and Vikram Sarabhai Award, IEEE Centennial Medal Award, Biren Roy Award for Space, Om Prakash Bhasin Award, and many more. With this very, very brief introduction, I would like to again welcome Professor Vasagam sir for joining us on this particular event. Welcome you, sir. Now I will go to our second and very, very distinguished eminent panelist, Dr. S. Pal, who is former Vice Chancellor, Defense Institute of Advanced Technology, Pune. He is also former DRDO, Dr. D.S. Kothari Chair, Director General, ECS Office, Bangalore. Professor Satish Dhawan, distinguished professor, as well as senior advisor to satellite navigation at ISRO headquarters. He was distinguished scientist, associate director, chairman Gagan PMV, and program director satellite navigation at URSC, which was earlier known as ISRO Satellite Center at ISRO. Between 2012 to 2014, he was the president IETE, and he was also chairman of IEEE Bangalore section 2004 to 2005. I forgot to mention our also chairman at IEEE Bangalore section. It is a very unique thing that both belongs to ISRO, as both have served as a past chairman, as a chairman at some particular point of time of Bangalore section. Dr. Pal has 50 plus years of experience in the field of antennas, space communication, and satellite navigation. He was responsible for initiating antennas, space communication, microwaves, and satellite navigation activities at UR Rao Satellite Center from the inception in 1971. He is fellow of IEEE, INE, which is Indian National Academy of Engineering, National Academy of Sciences, IET UK, VEDA, as well as he is fellow of IETE. He has also won more than 2 dozen national and international awards, including Judith Resnick Award from IEEE. And he is having one more distinction, that he is the first person to get this award from East of France. So we are really honored to have you, sir. Welcome you in this distinguished panel. Our third panelist is Professor Claudio Succi, who is chair of IESS panel on Glue Technologies for Space System. He is also associate editor at the Department of Information Engineering and Computer Science, University of Trento, Italy. He has obtained a Laura degree in Electronics Engineering and PhD in Space Sciences and Engineering at the University of Geneva in 1992 and 2003 respectively. He was associate editor for IEEE Communications Letters, and he is still in role of associate editor of Communication System Journal. He has authored and co-authored more than 100 plus papers in international journals. He was co-guest editor of Proceedings of the IEEE for the special issue titled Aerospace Communication and Networking, History, Trends, and Future. He was lead guest editor for the special issue of European Journal on Wireless Communication and Networking titled Multiple Access Communication in Future Generation Wireless Network. He was also lead guest editor of IEEE Communication magazine for the special issue Towards Space 2.0 Era. So you can see all the panelists, they are very, very distinguished in their own field, and all of them have worked in the space domain. So with this brief introduction, I would like to set the tone for the panel discussion. I will just explaining how we are going to have this panel discussion. So initially, I will be giving 10 minutes to each of the panelists for sharing their experiences and the challenges with respect to Apple satellite, and Professor Claudio will be talking about AES's panel on Bluetooth technologies. What are we are covering there? Then next 30 minutes,
Okay.
I will be asking 3 to 4 questions from each of the panelists in a round session, and then 30%, 30 minutes we will be opening to all the delegates who have joined this. They can directly ask questions from each of the panelists. So with this, we will be completing this entire panel discussion in next 90 minutes. So first and foremost, I would like to invite Vasagam sir for sharing his experience, and then I will share his presentation because he has requested me to share his presentation. So give me 1 second, sir. I will just share your presentation and then you can go ahead.
Yeah, I think screen is coming.
My presentation.
Presentation is coming. Okay.
1 second, sir. I think it is.
I want to tell you that only the first 6 slides are related to the Bluetech panel presentation and activities. So then I will tell you when you should stop with the first part related to the Bluetech panel activities. In 10 minutes, I will present them.
Sure.
Please
No
share
problem.
the presentation.
Professor Claudio, we will be going in a sequence. First, I will be giving 10 minutes time to Professor Vasagam.
Yes,
then
yes.
we will be going to Dr. Paul, and then we will start the video. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening and good afternoon to all, both the IEEE and also IETE and other professional fora here, and AESS. I am very much familiar from because very early from 65 onwards I am part of the IEEE. So I was the longest maybe serving member. So the most important thing, the Apple was an opportunity even for the European Space Agency when they were developing the Ariane launch vehicle. So there were 4 developmental flights. The first one will carry only dummy mass. Second, third, and fourth were supposed to carry some useful payloads, but at your own risk. So it may not be chargeable, only some token fee. And with that, we started the program. So I think the first slide, you just show this, share the screen. The screen is
yes,
seen.
Sir, it is. 1 second,
Okay.
sir. It is loading. Now it is. You can see the screen. Yes.
Yeah, you move faster. Okay. Yeah, this is the artist view. Of course, in the final context, one panel didn't deploy. So this is only the what was artist visualization at that time before the project started. Next. Yeah. Here, as I said, the 1970s, the Ariane development started. And it was in 1975, the proposals were asked from, all over the world. And we submitted 3 proposals. One 150 kg as a lateral passenger on the side mounted passenger. And another one in 76, 350 kg in the central module. And another one with the dual spin technology and 616 kg 3-axis. So these are, the next sketch shows but the whole scope was to continue the satellite communication experiments beyond what we did with the SITE experiment using ATS-6 of NASA and also the Symphony satellite of France and the Franco-German Symphony satellite. Then subsequently, whatever the ground systems left over and additional things being developed. So we latched on to using the transponder for that kind of experiment to integrate the satellite communication to the national telecom network, all the experiments. Okay, next. Yeah, these are the three things. You will see the very first one when it was submitted to European Space Agency. I think the first meeting took place only in Italy. I think I was not able to go there for presenting due to some other commitment, but my colleague presented it. This is the lateral passenger. On the right side, you will see on the left side there is a German amateur communication satellite. I think these were the candidates at that time. TRW evaluated us, all the proposals. So German amateurs, and we are on the other side with the elbowed people from India. And the second, previous one. Yeah, previous one you go. Okay, the second one was the 350 kg, but that is also dual spin. There will be only the antenna will be D-spun, just like the Syncom satellite. And the third one was the full-fledged 3-axis stabilized satellite, like the orbital test satellite of Europe, orbital test satellite, or the RCS SATCOM, the American thing, which was just in 1976. It was just in drawing board stage only in other places also. So we incorporated all the technologies contemporary at that time. Driven deployable solar panels, integral propulsion system for orbit transfer and maintenance, and also the communication payloads which are contemporary, and the antenna technology, honeycomb, and variety of things which we have to do. And the control system was the momentum bias system with orienting north-south axis with momentum bias. And then the other things will be earth sensor and sun sensor will be the main sensing modules. And the propulsion system will also be maintaining the orbit. These are the part of the things. And the top, what you see is Apple became a sandwich passenger. Bottom is the module, the CAT module, capsule Ariane technology. That was for the the performance monitoring of the Ariane launcher, and our satellite in the middle. The bottom module was built by Fiat Aviation in Italy. And the top one is the Meteosat, which the Franco-German Meteosat, that was at that time for the European Space Agency. These are just coming. So the other one was the second place. You will see the OTS satellite, which is heavier than Meteosat. So we had a chance to get a little more mass in our hands to play with our dreams. Okay, next. Yeah. The objectives, as I said, it is to realize the goal of bringing satellite communication into the national network. That was and it is a precursor for the INSAT system, which was also being planned at that time. Okay, next. Yeah, next one. This is the details of the entire project. It is a folder kind of things which we prepared for distribution at that time for all the people who are working as part of us. So one is the description of the satellite, and the other is the participating agencies and the development schedule. So this cost in Indian rupees at that time, the total project cost was around 21.5 crores, which is roughly in those days around $3 million US equivalent. So the launch was free, and the 16.5 crores was the money which was spent for making the satellites, and the other things were permanent facilities as part of the development cycle. Okay, next. 30 months, 21 crores. And this is from concept to completion. This is a mosaic of pictures. That is from the initial project approval to building the structural model, thermal model, engineering model, and then finally the proto flight, and then the flight model, and then the flight spare. Totally 5.5 models were built in less than 24 months. And we also had to do the testing not only in India, in France, in the French test facility at Toulouse. So number of people, teams have traveled world over. Even for tracking network also we had to go to other countries. So number of things happened during that time. But the last thing is, after the launch, it was dedicated to the nation, and then 27 months it was put to operational experimental use. So that was the important thing that we have got as a bonus. So this is the combined structural testing at the Toulouse facility. It almost it will hit the roof. And this is the thermal test at the Toulouse thermoarc chamber solar simulation facility. So this was again done in Toulouse. You will see, it is getting illuminated by the solar simulator inside the vacuum chamber. Next. Yeah, this is the integrated final prototype model. You will see the gold color foil kind of things which are thermal control surfaces, and inside the solar panels on both sides, and you will see the white patches on along the cylindrical surface. That is the optical solar reflector, which is the thermal radiator. It is the very low absorptivity for solar spectrum, but in the infrared, it will be maximum emissivity. So that is for thermal management. These are all first time done for the Indian programs. And we also had the heaters for the hydrogen and other things. Of course, here Dr. Paul may tell later on, when we are doing all this, the TTC, tracking telemetry and telecommand system, we had some anomaly, and finally the correction has to be done. So they have to do an open field measurement because we didn't have a closed range at that time. So this was taken on a non-metallic puller cart, and then it was taken to the open field, and then we got the whole thing done in about 7 to 8 hours. So we just paid 150 rupees. That is not even $10 in those days. So this kind of money, but it was an innovative way of solving the problem. The open field, even Jeep cannot go in that place. So that was the thing. Next. Of course, we are, in those days, we looked like this. The integration manager, Thomas, and I am on the right side. And Ramchandran on the extreme left, he was part of the program as deputy project director, and then the communication people. Then I am again on the right side. Okay. I was 37 years old when the project began, 41 at the time of launch. And Madhavan, the program manager, and then Dr. Rao, and then I am on the other side. Okay. This is all in Kuru, launch pad. And this is inside the, when we are assembling the satellite inside the Ariane heat shield. Finally, we are just checking everything, and then at that time we are allowed to go in. Of course, there are incidents like butterflies coming in and all that inside also. That was also an incident reported because that was the season for butterflies in French Guiana. So it will be itching when you touch anywhere. And this is how it looked like in the combined stack before launch. Next, this is the launch. Ariane became the geostationary launch vehicle at that time because of our mission, this mission LO3. And then this is the telemetry and the tracking antenna, which is part of the ISRO tracking network, which was established at Sriharikota, north of Madras, east coast of India. Next. And this is the orbit racing maneuvers and the tracking network which we had in Kuru, also in Villafranca, and also in Fiji, in Carnarvon, and also in Malindi. Number of places our system was being tracked, and we had network connections to get the data in real time to our control center. So this is how so third apogee, we fired the solid apogee motor, and then afterwards all the vernier maneuvers to raise the orbit slowly and then get into the right slot. That is the 102 degree east longitude. It was the position allotted for our satellite. Okay, next. This is another interesting thing where we had in Ahmedabad Air Station. Close to that, we have the test patterns are sent from ground, and then the received test pattern is matched, and then we see the satellite is working, transponder quality and all. But the bottom is, Darpana Studio. This is a dance school which is run by Mrinali Sarabhai, Madam Sarabhai, and the dance, this girl, she is performing Indian dance, Bharatanatyam, and you will see the one which is on the left side is the one which is directly coming from the ground camera. The two cameras are there. So one is getting the signal from the directly coming into the studio dance floor, and that is transmitted to the satellite, and then it comes down. So the received one will be the earlier, which was sent earlier, nearly 40,000 kilometers up, 40,000 kilometers down. So you will see the post change, facial change. It is not even 80,000. It is only a few 200, 300 milliseconds only. That travel has delayed the signal. So this, I think, was the when you are sending voice or video, everything happens like this only. So this is, I think, we blended the Indianness of the thing to prove that satellite is working. Okay, next. Yeah, next. Of course, this was inaugurated by then Prime Minister Madam Gandhi. She said that we are, a dawn of a new era, and then all the utilization experiments followed nearly 27 months. And we were actually introduced from Ahmedabad, the developers of the satellite, and the Prime Minister and our chairman were at New Delhi Air Station. One half of the screen was black and white for the Ahmedabad, other half was the Delhi Air Station. So we had the true teleconference mode of introducing our people. And these are transportable terminals, and the things which are used by Indian telephone industry and many others. Bharat Electronics, they built this, and the computer networking, emergency communication terminal, the Jeep mounted terminal, it's very small VIP terminal. Number of things were performed. So all this, when we completed the 27 months experiments, number of organizations have joined together. The telecommunication research center, now it is called the CDOT, and the other, it is part of the Ministry of Information and the Telecommunication Ministry. So this is, I think, one of the important things that you will know, the kind of thing. So finally, the last moment came on September of 2 years later. At that time, the hydrazine was just getting exhausted, so no more operation is possible. So we saw the last few drops of hydrazine coming through our thruster, and no more mechanical motion of the satellite was possible. So with tears in our eyes, we bade farewell to our baby in space. But one interesting thing was that this one solar panel did not open. Because of that, we faced a lot of problems in thermal management, not power. And with that, we had a new way of pitch rotation, variety of things we did also. It's a kind of dual spin mode we operated in the night time to avoid the sun heating. And we also had the the recovery from flat spin number of times. And even in critical national events, when we are supporting, a few hours before we have to get it back. All that. So Apple was the biggest elbowed satellite for us. The average age of my team was 27 years, and I was 37 in the beginning of the project. So the government honored with the stamp, Government of India, and also the other one, one more picture is there. That is the postal stamp. And this is actually the symbol is, it symbolizes the cooperative programs between Europe and India. And this has matured enough for a number of new missions followed. Major satellites of INSAT category were launched by Ariane, and we are extremely thankful. And also in the launch vehicle side, also we had cooperation with France. So, and as I said, we love cooperation, and these are entirely for peaceful purpose. So the whole thing was open to us. And one interesting thing was that we developed all the main and redundant. So the main systems were space quality, we got it from outside, and the other one redundant systems were done by the same person, supervising the other item, but it is a new technology of our own. So that has become the bedrock for the future satellites of India, whether it is for operational communication satellites or for the remote sensing meteorological missions. All the critical technologies were actually coming through this program. So I will be saying that now this laid the foundation in the 70s. I say that it was almost like Stone Age of ISRO with very minimal of tool. So only we had only just the telex and the telephone, no internet, no other way of even fax machine was not there. So with that kind of primitiveness and all 6 continents and 7 seas, our operations we have to handle at last moment of the mission, and we succeeded and survived and delivered the goods to the country. So this is what I would say. I am extremely thankful to the people, more than 2,500 people drawn from Indian educational institutions who made it possible. I salute the education system and also the cooperative spirit which they came with, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary project of this kind, and that too in 30 months period, and we delivered the things to the expectation of the people of India. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasagam sir. Thank you very much. I can see that still that glow, what I think you might be facing when you became project director for Apple, and then you ran the show with your young team, average age of 27 years. So it was really hard to stop you. That's why even though you exceeded 10 minutes of time, I am not stopped, because the whole purpose is to celebrate this 40 years of Apple. And very quickly you have summarized and given a very, very impressive glimpse how this Apple satellite was being realized, tested, and also how it is a true symbol of international cooperation at the time of 1971, when we were very, very new in this space arena. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing all your experiences as well as your association with Apple Satellite. Now I will quickly go to Dr. S. Pal, who is wearing many hats. Dr. Pal, sir, over to you. We would like to listen from you how was your association with Apple Satellite and what kind of challenges you have faced?
Thank you, Puneet. What I'm going to talk, I'm going to compliment Professor Vasagam because 10 minutes are there, so I'll quickly do it. First is, along with Professor Vasagam, Professor J.P. Singh, Mr. Padmasree Narayanan, I think I was the 4th or 5th person. The whole team was constituted once Professor Vasagam was appointed as a project director. I know when this project was being made, I can vividly recollect all the 3 options, and Professor Vasagam was in favor of a spinner, because a spinner was at that time Hughes Aircraft Company, they could give the total system and a spinner, but later on it was decided to go for 3 axis, and I think that was the best decision. Of course, Professor Vasagam is also a member of that decision-making team. Let me tell you a couple of things. Although I started getting involved with from 76, just after Aryabhatta on launch itself, and as I think up to Chandrayaan 1 and also to in some extent Mars orbiter, I was involved from Aryabhatta to Chandrayaan. I also had a opportunity to work almost on all satellites. I had opportunity to visit Kourou for Apple and later on for INSAT also. I consider the Apple, it's not I don't consider it's a primitive thing or etc. I consider Apple as a big milestone. It was the inter-center satellite project of the ISRO. Also, we had a good collaboration and cooperation with the ESA. So you can say it was a project which ushered us into the space era, and today we are very proud of it. See, Professor Vasagam said that many things were imported and the second things were made in India. Let me tell you, I'm one of the few proud persons that the whole TTC system was made in India. We were the first to use CMOS devices. First we used in Aryabhat, later on we used in CMOS devices in Apple. Not only this, we used the crystal coherent TTC transponder, and we could find out the orbit, you know, in in orbit of 90 meters from a primitive method. So these are some of the achievements which you must say. Some of the things which Professor Vasam did not cover, but let me for completeness sake do it. That we had a VHF TTC, you know. So we sent uplink in 148 megahertz, downlink on 136. We had a crystal transponder 846 or like that sort of frequency was the kilohertz frequency was sent, and we could determine the orbit. I think it was 789 kilohertz ranging frequency. So we did telemetry, telecommand, and ranging in VHF. To us, before us was Symphony satellite, which used the VHF. We had to also design the frequencies and total system in such a way that we are compatible with the EMCMI environment of CAT module, which Professor Vasakam talked. Apple should be compatible with the ESA, whole Ariane, ESA network, the NASA network, and some of the ground stations which we established, because we used for orbit ranging only in VHF. And I don't think after that we always went to C-band directly. So that way we can say we also had a C-band telemetry, you know, which was coming into the payload. The payload were only two transponders with 5 watts and 1.9 meter composite front fade reflector. Why I remember all these things? Because I was a member of the review committee, and sometimes I used to be the chairman of the review committees. We established a ground station, you know, for Aryabhatta days, what was known as a laboratory converted to laboratory, and from the same antenna we tracked the ground Apple also. Not only this, my colleague, I see Mahadevan's name, Professor Mahadevan may recollect that we had an 8-feet dish. Using that 8-feet dish, we could get Prime Minister's address, and also whatsoever Professor Vasagam showed those signals in IJ.
Sorry, sir. Dr. Paul, sir. 1 minute, sir. Your voice is not audible.
Was put in front of TN session and other members, you know, because 4.5 lakhs was a big amount at that time. So I had to justify. And Dr. Costa, who was my boss, he said, no, I don't want all these things. He wants it. So I remember late Mr. Session said, Costa, you cannot leave a young man to tigers, you know. And later on, he gave me the total funds which I needed for it. I also want to tell that when went to Kuru, it was a big experience for most of us, and we were we knew some of us were from Trivandrum, you know, so we knew cooking in Trivandrum itself. We learned, but our cooking skills were improved in Kuru, and when when Mr. and Mrs. Korea, they helped us a lot. One Suriname person, Ganpati Girjanand, I still remember, he helped us a lot. Now, coming to the our specifications, you see, we had a 222 on-off commands. Out of that, 77 commands were relay commands. The rest were all, CMOS commands. We also used at the time dual modes. You know, that was so we had 4 channels which were using dual modes. we also had 9 data commands. So you can't say that we were in a primitive stage, etc. Actually, we laid the foundation stone through Apple of all the future technologies to come. And I'll just share a couple of photographs. Uh, I am going for Mahadevan's photograph. You can see it. How we started, see one table for this is for Aryabhatta model. I'm going to tell what Professor Vasagam showed it. So Aryabhatta, it's a flight model. You could see it. These are the panels. But in case of Apple, we could not remove the panel. So here is another Aryabhatta model. And this is a mask which was given Dr. Kalam, who was at the time FRPD head. It's a telescopic mask he gave me because of our Trivandrum lessons. But in Apple, we could not do the same thing. So now this is one model of Apple. We made a 1/4 of model, and this is same mask. And we had a non-metallic gear system. We could rotate here. This is, you can see the RF absorbers to specular reflections to be avoided. Then this is one tower. This way we measured all the radiation patterns. Then this is what famous Bullock Court photograph, because Professor Vasagam had a doubt whether VHF system will work or not, because telemetry telecommand is the main system of any satellite. So to dispel his things, we made a non-metallic structure. It was a nitrogen, pressurized tank, and in which this flight model is there. I don't think anywhere in the world a flight model satellite was tested outside, and in that time era, there was no electromagnetic environment was completely free. We put water all around so that dust does not come. These are RF absorbers all around, and it was brought by a dozen persons to this field. The field is no longer exists. A lot of buildings are there, and Professor Rao put only bull for photography purposes. This photograph was given to one European magazine. European magazine put a caption: India has got a means of manufacturing satellite, no means of means of transporting. And still, if you open the Wikipedia, if this photograph, then you will find the same sort of captions there. Let me tell you that India started his rocketry by taking the nose cone on the cycle, and I think satellite technology by putting at least the satellite on the Bullock Cord. And idea was that India cares India's high technology, space technology is for the common man. So that was the great thing which was supposed to be there. So similar thing, we later on we had all outdoor things and open anechoic chamber. So we had a very innovative things. This is the best compact internet facility. Today we have got it. Puneet is in charge of those things. We can test the full satellite in this one. And so from where to where we have come, that's the thing. And this is a system which was antenna which was mounted on a tower near the small makeshift laboratory. And from here we could get the telemetry telecommand signals of Apple, Aryabhat, Bhaskara, and for a long time. So this is what we have done it, and I must admit that it was a pleasure to get associated with Professor Vasagam, with Apple spacecraft, with ISRO. Apple, from the beginning to the launch, I was involved. I was involved in most of the design reviews, being an RF man. And of course, as far as AESS is concerned, I was a DLT of AESS for almost 15 years. I am my fellowship also is from the AESS. So thank you very much, Puneet, and thank you very much, IEEE, IET, and others. I think I am associated with each one of them in some capacity or the other. It's a nice pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for sharing those wonderful experiences which you have really lived. We can only listen and we can imagine, but you have really lived all through this. And very important, that famed satellite photo along with Bullock Cord. I think only India can do such kind of experiments, and that shows that with limited resources, if we want to do anything, we can always find out some way or other to execute the thing and show the world that yes, we are second to none in developing the satellite technology. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing this. We will come back again. Now, quickly, we will go over to Professor Claudio because, and we will be listening because we have listened what we have done in last over 40 years. But I thought that it is also a very, very apt time to listen what is going to be the future of SATCOM, and then how AESS is involved in those technologies, how AESS is helping. So, Professor Claudio, over to you. I'm sharing your screen now. It will be visible within few seconds.
Okay. Perfect. Good evening to all the participants to this very interesting initiative. I'm very honored to be part of this anniversary. And I was really emotional to see the extraordinary and pioneeristic efforts in development of the first Indian satellite in times where the satellite technology was really in a not in the early phase, but just in a period of experimentation. Now, in my presentation, I want to show you what the IEEE AESS is going to do in order to go toward the new generation of space technologies, and in particular focusing our attention on the activities of the GLUE technologies for space system technical panel. Go ahead with the presentation, please. Next slide. Next. Okay, perfect. In these 10 minutes, I will touch only the first point of the presentation regarding the AESS GlueTech panel. In the next point of the presentation, there is material probably for further discussion about the future of satellite technologies as is configured in the recent developments of state of the art. Please, next slide. Okay, the AESS panel on GLUE technologies for space systems has been recently founded in 2019. The name GLUE Technologies means that we want to integrate different space technologies in order to make a kind of backbone, in order to cement a new concept of space. The technologies are developed in our vision with a degree of autonomy, but they are conceived to be integrated. Indeed, more than a single technology, we are dealing with technological tools that will be used, reused, and integrated in different and heterogeneous sectors of space science and engineering. Just to see, the main technological tools are, for us, the software-defined radios, the software-defined networking. So we are speaking of softwareization of space communications, broadband satellite connections in particular considering the extremely high frequency domain. So the ascent is on future terabit satellites. But we are also considering other kind of satellites that are the small satellites, like the CubeSat, that should configure a kind of a lower layer of the network, of the space network close to the Earth. By the way, aspects like signal processing and other kinds of technology will be considered. The objectives of the panel are listed in this slide. First of all, we want to establish an enduring relationship with our house event, that is the IEEE Aerospace Conference. Then we aim at organizing a conference in Europe that can be regarded as a European version of IEEE Aerospace Conference that is held in USA. Then another objective is to propose special issues about the panel topics on international journals, at least one or every 2 years. There is one or a special issue organized, and I will inform you about this. And we want also to support and organize yearly or biannual international doctoral summer schools with the ASS panel level. Indeed, we are organizing one of the schools in September, and the publication of periodical newsletters, a panel website, and publication of a possibly of a yearly panel activity report. I go to the next slide. In the next slide, there is the current picture of the panel. First of all, the panel accounts 33 members whose geographical distribution is on the graphic on the left side. You can see that the European Union is still dominant, related to the distribution affiliated, but for 52%, the rest of participants, more or less half of them, are distributed in US and Canada, in extra-European countries, and in Asia. The member affiliation is predominantly in the field of the academy, university in particular, but there is also some members coming from industry, other from research and space centers, and other from other institutions. The fields of interest of the affiliated members is in the largest majority related to space communications and networking for 68%. The rest are distributed in the signal processing community, space system engineering, and computer engineering. Okay, your participation to the panel is of course welcome. It's for free, nothing no money. It's enough that you send me an email with some information. The initiatives. First of all, the first initiative that is ongoing now is the organization of a special session to the IEEE Aerospace Conference 2022. The conference will be organized in March 2022 in presence at Big Sky, Montana. I am not sure that the conference will be entirely organized in presence due to the COVID emergency, the pandemic emergency. Probably they will allow at least for European people, to some remote modality. I'm pretty sure about this. The session is 4.03, Next Generation Space Systems, ASS GLUE. The abstract submission is still open. Please, if you want, you can submit. Information are available at the web link that I put under the icon of the conference. The second initiative that is ongoing and will be soon organized is our first PhD summer school. The title of the summer school is Frontier Technologies for Space 2.0 Communications. It will be held in a remote modality, an online event with the Microsoft Teams platform from 6 to 13 September 2021. The initiative, the school is sponsored by AESS and by Italian Space Agency. If you want, the participation is for free, no money required. On this website, you will see the information to register. Another initiative that I have to point out is a special issue of the IEEE transactions on aerospace and electronic systems. I have sent on the chat the link to the special session. The special session is really the special issue of the transaction on aerospace and electronic systems is related to panel topics. The deadline for submitting paper is 29 October. Sorry. For further information, please click on the link that I sent to the chat. Okay, so if I have just a few minutes, I can show you the vision that is behind the GlueTech panel ideas. The vision is a renewed concept of satellite communications, where the role of space networking is no more ancillary with respect to the terrestrial networking, but it becomes a pillar in a new structure, structured and global connectivity. As you know, the terrestrial networking, even though they are spread everywhere, they are very efficient. With 5G, they are becoming really broadband, but terrestrial cellular connectivity is still local, not global. We have a kind of network of interconnected subnetworks. So in order to the space networking in a new vision of future internet substantially is a kind of higher level master network node that interconnects every terrestrial network in transparent manner and efficient manner, allowing to bring connectivity almost everywhere. So this concept of global ubiquitous connectivity that we mentioned, that we tried in the European Union to promote in 2009 and 2010 has been achieved by the 5G and will be dominant in the 6G. in these few lines, in the red lines taken by the introduction of the IEEE Communication Magazine special issue of 2015 that I managed with my colleague Kulbazin, Naodo Kadovaki, and Fred Wang. We consider a shift from the old broadcasting view of satellite to a new vision of satellite communications, where the space segments are reconsidered in terms of augmented interactivity, dynamic and context-aware reconfigurability, resilience, and disaster immunity. Go to the next slide, please. This is the Space 2.0 vision in a picture. Substantially, the space network is a whole that is integrated in seamless manner with the terrestrial network, and substantially we think to dynamically reconfigurable space connectivity, able at interconnecting dynamically all the sparse terrestrial network segment. In this sense, the space network intelligence mentioned in this cloud is the glue that connects all the sparse network segments. In order to realize this vision, we need to change the paradigms. The old paradigm of fixed payload with hardware that cannot change will be reshaped and revised in the framework of the progressive softwareization of the satellite communication. I think that the 10 minutes are over. Am I correct? And I think that I have shown to you the main points of the GluTech and of the vision that is behind the GluTech panel. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I think that we can stop the presentation.
Thank you, Claudio. Thank you very much for nicely summarizing the AESS group activity, and then talking about Space 2.0. Now, with this, we have completed the first portion. I think I can see we are already almost 40 minutes late, but that is okay because we are celebrating a very, very important milestone in India's history. So now we will move over to the round robin question and answer session, where I will be asking few questions from each one of you, and then we will be expecting an answer from you. So I will go to Professor Vasagam, and first question is Professor Vasagam to him is, sir, what was the most important learning or takeaway from my first satellite project?
One is you are on elbowed mode, it is learning all the time. So, and we did not know that we did not know, So we are daring to do things which, otherwise it wouldn't have been possible. Because people who are brought from different education institutions of the country, coming together for a common purpose. And of course, the Indianness was always there. You will always, fight among yourself initially, but finally gelling into a team. When a problem comes, you come together. That is the strength of India, and that has been demonstrated in Nepal also. So I think that is what the greatest thing I would say. And that has produced 5 generations of leaders or 6 generations of leaders who later became project director, project manager, some went to other countries, international assignments. In US also, some have gone. So that, manpower development was another key thing. Infrastructure development was another. So I would say that the whatever seeding was done, I used to tell, two things happened during Apple program. The rupee was devalued. While we are just in the project was approved, so the dollar was, the Indian rupee was $1 was 5 rupees in those days. Suddenly it became 7.5. So all our budget, everything has to be, very, very carefully managed, but we managed it successfully within less than 5% contingency budget. We managed everything. And the second thing is about the ability of the people, the full-fledged documentation. Everything was documented, even 400 and odd waivers, the configuration management and many of those things, safety office, a variety of things came into existence because of Apple. So that has paved the way for all the others, new projects to come together. So that is the, you can say the
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
legacy.
much. So I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go
sir.
ahead.
So sorry, I have interrupted you because we have to. Yeah. So I can see that as a young team, you people have imagined that you want to do, and I can say that where there is a will, there is a way. So with that passion and motivation, I think you as well as your entire team worked and successfully made it happen, that Apple satellite. And in that earlier time, you could demonstrate a live telecast of Prime Minister's speech. I think at that point of time, it would have been a really national news as well as celebration point.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Now we will go to Dr. Paul.
Only
Sir,
one
I
point,
think
yeah.
during those days.
Yeah. No, one point I will just
Yes,
add
sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
that there was a decade plan, the profile of the space activity of India by Dr. Sarabhai. In one A4 sheet, I think he drew everything and then it was approved. One component was the Indian-built geostationary satellite before the end of the decade. And the other one was the launch vehicle for such missions, geosynchronous missions. The geosynchronous launch vehicle got delayed, but not the satellite. I think that is what you have to. We fulfilled one part of the Sarabhai's, vision. Okay. Thank you. Because this centenary year of
I
Sarabhai.
think that is very, very important input you have given, sir. That even though launch vehicle was delayed, but satellite was not delayed, and could still meet the decadal plan of ISRO set by Dr. Sarabhai. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Now I will come to Dr. Paul. Sir, during those days when we were just initiating this satellite antenna design activities, I think the toughest thing would have been how to derive the specification and how to finalize the specification of the antennas. So how you did it, sir? Sir, you are muted, sir. You have to unmute yourself, sir. We are not able to hear you. Sir, we are not able to hear you. I think sir, we have sent you a request. You can unmute yourself. Sir, you have to unmute yourself. You see your screen down.
Yeah.
First button is mute, unmute.
Yeah, I done it. Your question is very valid. We went by the fundamentals and then applied our own things. We made some integral equations and tried to do some calculations based on, we did not have much of a computer, so we did on DCM calculator. I think Mahadevan will remember.
Again, we'll ask you, sir.
I want to add it
Just
that Apple taught us how to review the things, how to write the documents, and how to work in inter-center mode, which was never happened earlier. So from Apple, so this laid the foundation of ISRO for critical design reviews, for inter-center working, and of course, at the time we did not have software, so antennas were all designed by the integral equations, including the 0.9 meter antenna front fed reflector, because I was in the design review of that one. Ours was a simple turnstile. We had a heritage from Aryabhat and Bhaskara. So from there we could do, but it was not so simple a thing. We had to do scale model testing. We did calculations by hand. So everything was done that way. Today everything is available in software. So it was a difficult task, but it was a challenging. One more thing I want to tell, if some students are listening, by reading the books, you can't do it. You know, we had all the books, but we had to use our own brain and own ingenuity for all the systems, not only antennas, for transmitter, transponder, receivers, telemetry, telecommand systems, etc. We had to design ourselves and do the things so they are compatible with others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for sharing your experience, how you derived the situations of the antenna during those days. Rightly said that from book we can definitely not design the antenna. We have to practically do on our own and then start doing the things. Now I will come to Professor Claudio. Professor Claudio, I would like to know what will be the role of SATCOM in 6G and beyond. So can you throw some light on?
Okay, the role of satellite in 6G and beyond is shown. Can you resume my presentation in the last slide of my presentation from slide 15 to going ahead? Can you resume my presentation, please? I can show you the better what I mean to answer to your question with a couple of slides of my presentation. Please, can you? Okay. Perfect. Go to slide 15.
Yeah, actually it is loading. You give me some time. In the meantime, you can just
Okay.
show that.
Okay. In the slide that it will be shown, there is the current vision of the role of satellite in this one in 5G. In 5G scenarios, the satellite is considered as, in particular, multi-beam high throughput satellites are considered as backhaul to interconnect separate and sparse parts of the same 5G network, as you can see. This role is a step ahead with respect to the previous mere interconnection role, but I am expecting that in 6G and beyond, the role of the satellite will change. In the next in the next two slides, there are possible scenarios of the satellite in 6G. Please go to the next slide. Okay. In this slide, taken by a paper published on China Communication in December 2020, so very recent, there is a multi-layered satellite network where the network configuration can be updated by means of software-defined networking. You can see in this picture that the SDN layers are distributed through the different layers of the satellite. For instance, the most centralized management functions are concentrated in the geo nodes, and the application functions close to the Earth are disseminated through the lower orbit satellite. As you can see, this is a typical 6G configuration of the satellite, where the role of the satellite is really of a master of the network, an orchestrator of the terrestrial network segments. In the next slide, again, go ahead on the next slide. There is another scenario where machine learning is disseminated through the space network in order to manage in transparent manner the hybrid network segments like IoT and broadband segments together. So in this kind of pictures, you can see the concept of space network intelligence that we mentioned in our picture, probably. And just to conclude the answer, in the 6G, the role of satellite will be very different than the current role of satellites, and Chinese researchers are going very fast to this goal, even faster than European and US researchers, for instance. I don't know the situation in India, what is it, but this couple of pictures, both taken by China Communications, are revealing an effort toward what we stated in our ideas. So the space 2.0 communication is becoming more than an idea.
Yeah, I fully agree, Professor Claudio, that 6G, the role of satellite in 6G will be entirely different. And in fact, it will be too early to say that how satellites are going to play an important role. But definitely they are going to play an important role because of AI and machine learning when we are going to adopt. So everything, I think we are going to have a reconfiguration aspect also in orbit, not like today that when satellite is down, we cannot reconfigure it, but antennas as well as payload, they are going to be the future of our space 2.0. But let us wait and watch. Thank you. Again, I will go to Professor Vasagam sir. Vasagam sir,
Yes.
I think you will be able to tell us how was the team as well as your confidence about the success of Apple satellite project, because this being first experimental communication satellite, definitely there will be some goosebumps in your as well as your team's mindset. So please share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, the European Space Agency teams are not sure that we will deliver the flight-worthy spacecraft in 30 months. So we are to deliver a flight-worthy structural model, fully tested in Toulouse, kept as a hostage there. Till the flight model arrives at Kourou and it is fitted properly, it was not released. Actually, we brought it back after the launch. So we were paying the demurrage, to store that structural model in France. That is one. I think so. The confidence level. And they also looked at the sheds of Kenya. I think you must be doing it somewhere else. This is only facade. You are just showing something like this. Somewhere else the work is going on. Okay, that is hardware. And the third thing is, when we developed the indigenous systems, redundant systems, some companies actually, including Teltix, Momentum Wheel and all, our technology, what we developed in indigenous field is different than what they have given for Intelsat. Actually, it is Intelsat heritage. So when we finally one day landed in my office, said that we are going to stop your satellite launch because you are patent violation. You know, we will sue you. Either you pay the money or we will sue you. I said, you say we have made our own mistakes. We have learned from the failures in making the indigenous momentum wheel that will be switched on second year, and we did that also, and that is the one which is now currently serving all the needs of India. And the third thing is all the so-called tele-teaching, telecomputing, telemedicine, whatever is starting with tele, everything was done through Apple, during that period. So telemedicine was one of the grand success at that time. Same thing, tele-teaching. IEEE robotics course was taught through Apple, from Detroit and also Boston and New Delhi, Ahmedabad. The two-way video audio link, the downlink is audio video, but uplink is only the audio. The questions can be raised through audio. Everything was done, in so many campuses. 7 campuses of the engineering colleges, we assembled students nearby, and Apple told its own story in 21 days. That is all the subsystem developers, they presented. And the Aeronautical Society of India has also brought out a special volume exclusively by the design team, which wrote all the articles. It is available. I think you can refer. It is internationally renowned journal. It is, it is fully documented up to the completion and then experiments. So I would say that the lessons learned, it also pays what I would say the roadmap. It is maybe the first step, but it is a big step for, as Paul said, I think it may be a giant step for the rest of the things which have to follow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So it means the Europeans were not able to believe that we will be able to deliver the satellite. So that's why the model was already kept at ESA, and then the flight model was delivered. I think that is really commendable thing, and that shows the confidence of the Indian team, how confident we were that we will be able to deliver. That's why we have already put one model there and designed, developed, tested, and then took it to ESA for the launch. Very nice, sir. Thank you. Now, quickly, we will go to Dr. Paul. Sir, I would like to know from you, what was the most challenging aspect of antenna design?
Well, first, I mean, let me leave where Professor Vasagam started. When you are young, pretty young, your confidence is infinite. And when you test everything, you feel that you will be confident that you are confident things will work. Now, as far as testing was a major part, like we did not have anything, the spectrum analyzer, etc., came later on from the Apple funds. Many things were delivered after the project was over. For antenna, I said we went through the integral equations. For receiver, we were using a GR admittance bridge, which nobody knows about it. And you have seen already makeshift arrangements, we were doing it. But in makeshift arrangements, we were theoretically trying to prove also parallelly that whatsoever results we are getting, they are good. We were integrating the total 4-5 stadiums, and then we were trying to find out the efficiency and all those things. So we were quite confident. It's like this in the army, lieutenants die more than the generals. So when you are you start the space program, you are quite young. You want to do something, even if you get an offer from America. Many of us rejected those offers. We wanted to do something, and I think still we are there. We did something. That's the strength of ISRO. That's the strength of India. Thank you.
I think, sir, it is because of people contribution, as well as, I will say, the confidence put at those times, and then you have delivered. So that's why now ISRO is a very organization, in fact, the best performing government organization in India. And I think because of that only now ISRO is in top 5 or 6. So credit goes to all of you, because you people have taken that courage and confidence and shown us the path how to go
in future. And definitely, I can imagine that even the VNAs which were started, you started buying with Apple project, project was delivered before, but instruments came late. So all these, still with those kind of challenges, you could deliver. Kudos to you and your team. Thank you, sir. Now we will quickly go to Professor Claudio for his next question. So, Professor Claudio, what are or will be the research trend in SATCOM in near future? I think I will be still trying to poke you that what will be the future trend in near future?
Okay, in the near future, the trend in satellite communications will be the extended use of software-defined radios and software-defined networking in order to build reconfigurable network infrastructures. The SDN, the software-defined networking, will allow to solve some big issues related to satellite networking. For instance, in the counteracting of a rain effect with the rerouting of the information from a gateway to another gateway in case of rain. SDN will solve a lot of issues in this. SDR, software-defined radio, will open the road to the reprogrammable payloads in order to reuse the payload and avoiding to waste space resource. I think that in the future, satellite will become more sustainable technologies thanks to the reprogrammability and the reuse introduced by the softwareization. In my opinion, this will be the future trends.
Thank you, Professor Claudio, for bringing a very, very nice and very overly used term of sustainability. I think you have rightly put that sustainable satellite projects by using SDN and reconfigurability. Definitely, once we launch, we can always configure according to our requirements. Thank you very much.
A lot of space garbage will be avoided. And to conclude, a lot of space garbage will be avoided by softwareization.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
So now coming to Professor Vasagam, sir, I will be asking you my next question. That now everybody is asking about new space age. So how do you see the role of ISRO in new space age?
Yeah, you see as rightly Claudio said, serviceable satellite systems that we are yet to make a headway. And then long back, I also know that Intelsat and also ESA, they did a big study for geostationary platforms. The structure can last for 30 years, but the payloads should be periodically replaced. And the antenna forms you create in geostationary orbit. Don't put too many small satellites and then make them collide and all, but make big platforms. Everybody talks of only low Earth orbit platforms. Even China is, the walk. They are doing the spacewalk now. But a man cannot go to geostationary orbit and stay safe because of the radiation levels. So it has to be totally robotic system. And I think the studies have been done by Intelsat and also ESA long back, maybe 20 years back. So I am fully familiar. I think ISRO should find such new goals. That is one. And then the life extension of existing satellites. That is only the fuel and batteries, things like solar power and all that it can be. And the thing is, the obsolescence of payload can be only combated by the replacement of new payloads periodically. So that alone, this module should go and attach. So I think that technology ISRO should now think of the new space for ISRO. I think those young people who are joining ISRO now, they should not go on our beaten track. They should do now path breaking. We have created the path already. That is beaten track. Now the path breaking thing is in their hands. I think the colleges and the academic institutions and research institute all should work for path-breaking ideas for ISRO to rejuvenate itself. That is what I would say. That is the goal which you have to
Thank
set.
you, sir. I fully agree with you that now we really work along with actually that collaboration is the key. So industry, academia, ISRO, they all should work together and they should really work towards path-breaking technology so that we can bring in the serviceability, replaceability, as well as life extension in the form of refueling and the form of changing the payload, in the form of changing the solar cells as well as battery once their life is over. By doing so, definitely we can bring a lot new concepts as well. We can use the same satellite for longer period. Thank you very much, sir. Now, same question I will ask from Paul, sir. Sir, how do you see that in new space age? What will be the role of ISRO? Sir, I think we lost you again. We are not able to hear you, sir. You have to unmute yourself.
I feel that ISRO should be an R&D organization and should generate the ideas, and industry should do it. Okay, ISRO should have more some sort of ideas getting generated from the academia and other things. And the conventional thing we should leave it to the industry, because in the space is there. There's so many other persons wants to say. There is a lot of I must say enthusiasm everywhere that we can do the things. So we must generate the ideas. We must do the R&D. Technological development program should be continued, which somehow was taking the back seat. And new ideas can be generated there only. And another thing is, see, in the past, we never went what NASA is doing, what ESA is doing. We went for our requirements. Similarly, we can't go ahead, we can't compete with China and others. We should do the things which are needed for us and then go for them. Like we did the space program for remote sensing, communication, scientific, all for low Earth. Then we went to Chandrayaan, Mars, and Aditya and other things. So that's way we have to go that way. So we can't be in competition, but at the same time, we can't be keeping our eyes and ears closed for the new developments which are taking place. And as far as software-defined things are concerned, which Dr. Claudio said, we have to do in a much bigger way. I know I have been associated with CSIR, DRDO, and also with ISRO. Not much work has been done. That's one area where even academic students also should do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for bringing a lot more focus on ISRO's future, that we should be really focusing on R&D activities rather than doing the typical design and fabrication of repetitive satellites, which definitely we can now, because of liberalization and opening of the space sector in India, we can definitely give it to private sector. And yes, I also agree that work on SDN should be taken up in a much bigger way. And with that, definitely, once again, we can be among top 5. In fact, we are already in top 5. I think now we should be going and making our own unique position in global space arena. And what Dr. Paul sir has said, again, I will tell that yes, he is right that we should not be competing with them, and we should not be trying to following whatever US, China, Russia has done, but we should be trying to devise our own strategy, our own future directions, and then accordingly we should work rather than simply replicating or copying the thing. Thank you very much, sir. Now we will come to Professor Claudio. So I will come because you are representing AESS here. So I would like to know, how do you see the role of IEEE AESS in the new space age?
I think that the role of AESS in new space technology will be crucial, because the AESS can join different levels, can integrate different levels of competencies, of skillness, ranging from the communication and networking competencies, but also the competencies in terms of space missions and space engineering, and this synergy between the different competencies cannot be found in other IEEE societies that are more focused to some specific aspects. For instance, in the communication society, you will find the experts in the communication layers, but not in space engineering. For instance, in the remote sensing society, geoscience and remote sensing society, you will find people skilled in signal processing. In the ISS, there are people working in the communication, signal processing, space engineering, and space mission. So I think that this society can have a big role in new space systems.
Thank you, Professor Claudio, for throwing some light on how AESS is planning to play a very, very important and meaningful role in the new space age. Now we have completed, even though I am having few more questions, but I would like to stop at this point of time because already delegates, they want to ask questions. We will be now moving to the third and last portion of this presentation as well as program, where I have now unmuted all the participants. So those who want to ask questions directly to panelists, please, you can ask directly. You just name that you are asking questions from such and such panelists, and I will request panelists to answer those questions. So friends, now it is open to all of you. You can go one by one. Any questions from audience?
I have a question for Vasagam in particular,
Yes.
and Pal. Are you planning some experimental studies of some mission in the future in the framework of high throughput satellites, terabit satellites? Are you studying something like this, at least at level of feasibility study?
Maybe I can answer two things. You know, India
If you
is
can answer, by the way.
Yeah, India is planning to, you know, it is 75 years of India's independence. That is next year. So we wanted academic institutions jointly or individually build small satellites of CubeSat or slightly heavier for, you know, the cluster of satellites to do useful purpose. That it may be internet, IoT, many of those things. So that is now taken up in a big way in number of institutions in the country, but it is totally like, you know, crowdsourcing. That is, we have given the idea, now somebody they are interested, they will join and then do it. It is not directly by government, but we are going to seek the support of government for pre-launch, you know, if possible, so that the launch support can be given by the government. That is the a number of institutions are already engaged in that. The second one is about the you know, the industry to get ready to, you know, Satish Dhawan, his birth centenary is now going on. Our second, you know, the man who consolidated our all our efforts in place, and his vision was that 90% of ISRO should go back to R&D. Only 10% should do the, you know, this kind of handing over to the industry. So right now it is the other way. 90% is doing the regular jobs, and then only 10% for R&D. So it has to be reversed. These two are our goals now, and we are all party to this kind of thing. Even though I am now not part of ISRO directly, but through academic institutions, we are having a big network. In Chandigarh, there is a university which is now getting very strong in aerospace. As Kalpana Chawla, you know, she was born in that Punjab territory. So like that, there are many things. And the south, there are a number of institutions who want to get into aerospace. Not only this drone technology and this small satellites, and they are catching the attention of the student community. So we hope that AESS will find some way of bringing these young people into the picture for the it is aerospace in a different way, whether small or big. So that is what I think we'll have to think of.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, sorry, but I should leave the meeting because I have another meeting planned. And so it was really a pleasure and an honor to be hosted in this event. And I hope that new opportunities of cooperation will arise from this event with the panel and with the ESS that I'm representing here. Okay.
Thank you, Claudio. Thank you very much
See
for
you.
joining us and providing a wonderful perspective on
See you.
AESS Blue Tech technology as well as Space
Yes.
2.0. Thank you very much. Anyway, we
See
also
you.
will be closing very soon.
Yeah, I
But
think
still, I would like to ask any attendees if they want to ask anything or
put in the chat
Govinda
box.
sir,
Hello,
if you want
I'm
to
Mahadevan
ask
here.
anything.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Mahadevan sir, go ahead. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, one of the great challenges we had is you are asking about the antenna designs, etc. We had no place even to mount. See, the satellite was big. We had no place to mount. At one time, I think Paul was so cheesed up and he told Thomas that you could fly without the antennas. So finally, you find that so small strips were given at two ends, which is slightly extended from the body. So as you know that we didn't know what impedance it will provide for us to get that. We tried that, so we have to make sure that whatever impedance we are measuring is reasonably right for us to do the correction. So we went out. That was one of the major issue for us. So we went out, got the impedance calibrated, and then once we did, we have to do the stub and the line. See, we had to do the matching using a line and a stub. So the number of connections for every point increased to 1, 2, 3 instead of 1. Generally, that is for one monopole. Similarly, for 4 monopoles, we had 12 connections, which we would have otherwise had only 4. If it is normal, we would have done the whole thing. Now, there was no way that we could do anything at last stage. We have to do the impedance matching there itself. So that itself was a good thing, but it was a very good experience, and it worked very well. VHF transponder was used throughout the mission. So we really remember every aspect of this, and the whole organization giving support for this particular activity was very, very commendable. I will especially thank the project director and his team who really supported that activity. And then obviously, of course, Dr. Paul, who was heading our group. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing this wonderful thing that even though we have designed antenna, there was no place on the satellite to mount it. Sharing this wonderful information.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And
I want to ask one question. I am Arnachalam.
yeah, please.
What's the barber?
Yeah, okay.
My boss was Professor R.M. Vasagam.
Yes.
Many things about the satellite, how the development, what are the problem encountered. We had a lot of problem in the mass of the satellite, which is specified. We had a lot of problem. So I request Professor Vasagam to tell few words about the effort to keep the mass within the specified limit. Sir, please.
Not audible.
Sir, I think he is asking about mass optimization of the satellite, how one should do.
Yeah, you see, as we had the 3 configurations, that last one was the 3-axis stabilized Apple. Above us was the Meteosat. So 616 kg was available at that time. And then as Ariane final calculations came, it was slightly more mass they will release. That was this instead of 1640, 1670, something like that. So that whatever extra was there, we wanted to use it for loading. But typical what happened, it is serving as an adapter as well as satellite structure. So the finite element techniques, all whatever we are doing, structural analysis, everything, ultimately the mass growth, normally in the NASA projects also I have heard, that is the cost is going almost sometimes, twice. And the project mass also increases during the process. So configuration control is very, very critical. So what you can shave off, that is by proper analysis and testing only can be done. So that is where we finally ended up with overweight apple. So instead of 616, we ended up with 672 kg in the beginning itself. So the apogee motor, which is solid motor inside, can only put it in 22.5 hour orbit, not the 24-hour. So that balance has to be coming out of the small engines, the 1 Newton engines, 4 of them, firing almost 13,000 seconds. We have fired to raise to 24-hour orbit. So these are all, out of necessity, we have done everything. But this is what I think would say in any project. Finally, even in the SLV project, when it was initially designed for 40 kg, at the launch pad, we found it can only support 37.5 kg. So we have to remove some package. Tarsem Singh, who was project director, he knows, the kind of things that he had to face to remove a package. So it becomes almost like, cutting a limb. And same thing we have also seen in other satellites, where the final thing, whatever is we are estimating, and then finally the built spacecraft always goes up. So nowhere we have reduced the mass, before the earlier estimate. So this I think is a lesson which you have to keep in mind. So whatever we do, I think ultimately the, whether it is a small system or big, finally the, mass optimization has to be part and parcel of the thing from the birth of the project. We can't escape. So that is something which you have to.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I request each attendee to switch on their video so that we can have one group photo before we wind up the session. So I request each one of you to please switch on your video and let us have one nice and memorable great event.
I think some are not present. Okay.
Each one of you to quickly. Mahadevan sir.
Senthil Kumar.
Senthil sir. Vasagam sir.
Just a minute, I'll join.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I think from IET side, Bhatia sir is there, so I request Bhatia sir to just represent IET and convey their regards. Bhatia sir, over to you.
See, one thing we can see that whenever there is a crisis, and as a team, when we work and we have a faith within us, and then we have a faith in our whole system, and that whole energy comes, and that's what the exemplary leadership Vasagam has shown in this Apple project, and that is initiated our space program. Basically, I can say that it is very in the domain of this one. Very well, well organized and well, so-called, very rich in the information as far as this panel discussion is concerned. I complicate from the IIT side. I just compliment each one, the panelists, and they have done a wonderful job. And it is also a good advice is another thing for the younger lot, that they never have to leave their, spirit. And the spirit behind that is that we want to do it and we will achieve. Faith within them and faith within the system. That is what brings the results. And that's a big message. And they have also opened up, but it is such area we should now take it. We should not only manufacture the satellite, we have to go in R&D and have our own, system requirement to be generated. And we should try to work for that rather than follow somebody or have a competition. It's a wonderful message which they have given. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bhatia sir. Thank you very much for joining us and providing your perspective. I can see now we are also having Dr. Chandrakant, who is also secretary of our chapter. So Dr. Chandrakant, now I would request you to formally deliver a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Puneet. Actually, that is actually it is like coming to the temple actually for all of us. So here all the means God of our own field they are sitting, and we are just trying to like we say that we use the water of the Ganges to worship Ganga. So that is like this. So thank you, Pal sir, thank you, Vasagam sir. And it's a wonderful, I have close interactions. I have worked with Dr. Pal sir. So special this one, I know many of you, special this one, affections. We have always enjoyed, and your encouragement in IEEE as well as in our professional career has always been enlightened by, we are always enlightened by your affections in that sense. So thank you, sir, for being with us and giving this wonderful memories, sharing the knowledge or wonderful memories with us, such that we can carry forward, we can tell all these stories to other people as well. And thank you, Puneet, and thank you, AESS and IIT for organizing this nice program. And with this small this one, I was not formally prepared for this one, of course. Thank you very much. That's all.
So thank you, Dr. Chandrakant. Thank you very much. And thank you once again to all my distinguished panelists who have joined us. And from last 2 hours, they are continuously with us. So that shows the contributions they have made towards Apple and the affection as well as closeness and pride what they are feeling. That's why they have joined us. And we are also having a very, very eminent delegates also who have joined us. So on behalf of IEEE APMTT Joint Bangalore Chapter, IEEE AESS Bangalore Chapter, IET Bangalore Center, as well as IEEE AESS Panel on Blue Technologies for Space Systems, I am thanking you one and all. Thank you very much. And we wish that we will be celebrating 50 years of Apple launch also with all of you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.